All right, so this is going to be my Week 10 NBA Power Rankings. Let's get started. Starting off, we're going to just talk a little bit about the all-tournament team here for the NBA Cup. The Bucks did beat the Thunder, and the all-tournament team is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was the Cup MVP, and then Alperen Sengun as well. And then for our main injuries here, you guys can mostly look at yourself. I want to mention Joel Embiid's back. Mo Wagner also is going to be injured for the rest of the season for the Magic, which sucks for them. And for top performances, again, you guys can look at this yourself. I just wanted to mention that Victor Wembanyama had a 10-block game, which is very impressive, obviously. But yeah, get started at number 13 will be the New Orleans Pelicans, who lost all three of their games this week, and they have now lost 7 straight games. So they are obviously not a very good team. Number 30 is going to be Washington Wizards at 4-22, also not a good team, but they did win this week. They beat the Hornets and they lost to the Bucks. Number 8, Utah Jazz. They're 7-20. They won 2 games this week, so 2-0 on the week is really good for them. They did play the Pistons and Nets, who are also not very good teams, but good week here for Utah. 27 Toronto Raptors, who went 0-2 this week. They have 7 straight losses. Easily not a good team. They got Scottie Barnes back from injury, but they're still not a good team. They lost to the Nets and to the Rockets. Number 6, Charlotte Hornets are 0-2 on the week. They lost to the Wizards and to the 76ers. Number 25, Portland Trail Blazers here. They're 1-1 on the week. 9-19 overall, which is bad, but we expected this from them. This week they beat where are they at? Portland Trailblazers. They beat the Nuggets by 2 points, which is a good win, and then lost to the Spurs by 20. 24. Detroit Pistons, 12-17. A lot better than they were last year, but still not a good team. 1-1 on the week. They lost to the Jazz, and they beat the Suns this week. Number 3, Brooklyn Nets, 11-17. They traded away Dennis Schroeder this week. And they went 1-1 in the first week without him. They beat the Raptors and lost to the Jazz. Number 22, the Philadelphia 76ers. Went 9-17 so far in the year. Went 1-1 on the week. They did get Joel Embiid back from injury, but they also lost Jared McCain until probably at least March. So definitely a kind of a trade-off there. Embiid's obviously the better player, but McCain was doing really good. Next up is the Sacramento Kings, who are 13-17. They're going to drop 3 spots here. They went 0-3 on the week. Not very good. They did play some good teams, so it's not horrible. Like they lost to the Lakers twice and to the Indiana Pacers, but still not a good week for them. Number 20, Chicago Bulls, 13-16 overall, went 1-1 on the week for them. They beat the Celtics and they lost to the Celtics. So there's a lot of teams this week that just played the same team twice. I'm not sure what was up with that, but the Bulls did split with Boston. Number 19, Indiana Pacers, 2-0 on the week. They're inching back to get up to 500, which is, obviously a better place to be than where they were a week ago. This week they beat the Suns and the Kings, 2 solid teams. 18, Miami Heat. They went 0-2 on the week. They fell back to 500, and they're talking about trading Jimmy Butler, so they really need to be competitive. If they want a chance of him staying there, but being right at 500 is not where they want to be to keep Jimmy Butler happy. But they lost to the Magic and the Thunder. 17, Atlanta Hawks went 0-2 this week as well. So after they lost in the Cup, NBA Cup, they kind of just went downhill and have now lost two straight games this week. They lost to the Spurs in overtime, and they lost to the Grizzlies. Number 16, Los Angeles Clippers, 1-1 on the week. They're actually going to move up 3 spots here, even though 1-1 is like relatively even. Kawhi Leonard is projected to play this week. We haven't really heard much about him until last week. They were like, yeah, he'll probably be back in a week or so. I'm like, oh, okay. That was definitely good information that came out of nowhere. But hopefully he does end up playing this week and actually stay healthy. 15, Golden State Warriors. Of the previous one here should say 13, not 3. My bad. But yeah, 15-12 overall. 1-1 week for the Warriors. They got beat by 50 versus the Grizzlies. A very bad game. But then they bounced back with the win over Minnesota. Number 14, San Antonio Spurs, 2-0 on the week. They are up to 500 right now. Really looking good for the Spurs. They beat the Hawks in overtime, and they beat the Trailblazers. And also, they got Trey Jones back. Everything so far this week is looking really good for San Antonio. Number 13, the Orlando Magic. They're going to drop one spot. 18-12, still a good record. 1-1 on the week, but they did lose Mo Wagner for the rest of the season, and they already have plenty of other injury issues to worry about. Number 12, Phoenix Suns. 0-2 week for them. They did get Kevin Durant back, but they haven't won a game since he's been back yet. But 14-13 overall is still in a decent place. You would like to be better than that, but not horrible. Number 11, Minnesota Timberwolves, also 14-13. They went 0-2 this week as well. I got to drop them a couple of spots here. They lost to the Knicks by 26 and to the Warriors by 10. Number 10 is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers. They're going to jump up 5 spots. They're sitting at 16-12. They had a 2-0 week against the Kings twice. They beat them by 13, and they beat them by 4 in the next game. Number 9, Denver Nuggets, 15-11. They went 1-1 this week. They are going to drop about 4 spots. Their record has always been a little bit worse than where I've ranked them. And this week I'm kind of falling back and putting them where they would belong based on their record. But this week they lost to the Blazers by 2 points, and they had a 3-point win in overtime against the Pelicans. So they kind of deserve to move down because barely beating the worst team in the league and then losing to the Blazers, not a good week. Number 8, Milwaukee Bucks are going to drop 2 spots after having a 1-1 week, and that does not count their win over the Thunder in the NBA Cup Championship because technically that game was not a regular season game. But they did beat the Thunder, but then they ended up losing to the Cavs, and they beat the Wizards. Number 7, Dallas Mavericks. They're going to drop 3 spots, had a 1-1 week themselves. They played the Clippers twice. They lost by 23, and they won by 16. Number 6, Houston Rockets are 19-9 right now. They went 2-0 this week. They've been one of the best teams record-wise to start the season, and I haven't really given them much justice. But this week, I'm kind of trying to bring them up to where they belong. Here this week, they beat the Pelicans by 20 and the Raptors by 4. Number 5, New York Knicks, 18-10 for them. They went 2-0 this week. They're going to jump up 3 spots here. They've kind of gotten their groove in the last few weeks here. They beat the Timberwolves by 26 and the Pelicans by 11. Number 4 is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies. They've kind of just been climbing up my rankings over the last few weeks. They're sitting at 20-9 right now. Second best record in the entire Western Conference. Very good things going on here for Memphis. They beat the Warriors by 50, and they beat the Atlanta Hawks. Number 3 is going to be the Boston Celtics. They're going to stay where they were. They went 1-1 this week against the Chicago Bulls. They lost by 9 to the Bulls, and they beat the Bulls by 25 the second time they played them. Number 2 is going to be the OKC Thunder, 22-5, best record in the West. They went 2-0 this week and have won 7 straight games. Again, not counting the NBA Cup Championship, which they did lose. So technically, they've won 7 straight games, but they do have a loss, just a week ago, but I'm still in a really good place here for OKC. And number 1 is going to, of course, still be the Cleveland Cavaliers, 25-4, the best record in the league. And they went 2-0 this week with a 23-point win over the Milwaukee Bucks and a 27-point win over the Philadelphia 76ers. And now, thank you for watching this video. I will be back next week with an updated power rankings list, and make sure to check out my NFL videos as well.